One of the most common questions I get in the comments and on stream is, PhiDX, when will you compete again? Unfortunately, in this video, I don't have a direct answer for you, but I want to walk you through my mindset and the thought processes I go through to decide whether I compete or not, the things I take into consideration. In a general sense, I want to answer, like, what does it take to be good at Tekken? What kind of work, what kind of experience does it require? I know better than to leave you visually unstimulated. So while I talk about that, I wanted to show you some drills I run in Tekken, especially when I'm trying to be competitively ready. So if you don't care about the drills, go ahead and jump to the timestamps below. But this is some good mechanical practice. So I have Jin on the other side, and I have him set to do some certain strings and moves. First one is down forward 1-4. The purpose of this is to duck the string and launch it. But he's not going to do that alone. He's also going to do down forward 1-4-4. Which is a mid that I can punish with a 12-frame move. There's pushback, so some characters struggle to punish this. This is important to consider. At least be able to block it. The third recording is just down forward 1-4 with a delay. So when I turn on all three, it's going to be a nice visual and mechanical reaction check. The fourth option is 2-1-4-4. This is like a scrub killer string. There's no mix-up. But it's important to be ready for it because that twitch gives away that he's going to go low. Of course, we also have to answer 2-1-4. I have him doing it on a delay here so I can sidestep it to the right and get a punish. Ideally, a launch punish if I'm super sharp, but it's pretty tight. And I don't think that's reasonable in every match necessarily. And then the last option here is 2-1-4-4, but with that delay on top of it. So just, again, adding more mechanical difficulty. Second to last string is a hell sweep. Now, I don't think this is like as reactable as like a snake edge, right? In combat, you're going to get hit by this. Pros are going to get hit by this. But I think if you're looking for it specifically, like that's all you care about blocking, it's seeable. You'll get hit by a ton of other things in an actual match, but I think it's worth practicing that level of visual reaction, even if it's not reasonable necessarily in a real match. Same thing with down 2. You'll get hit by this while looking for other moves. But it's important to have the skill of reacting to it, right? To remove that from your mental stack if you know that your opponent is at a level where they'll just spam it and you want to be ready for it. All right, so that's the drill. I'm going to turn on the first 3, then the second 3, and then the last 2, and then all of them at once to challenge myself. Just going in pieces to develop that. So what does it take to be good at Tekken? The first thing, surprisingly, I think, to many people is that it's just a lot of practical experience. There are a lot of pro Tekken players, maybe I shouldn't say a lot of, but there are a surprising amount of pro Tekken players who don't really lab that much. When I met a lot of Pakistani players and played with them in particular, I noticed from talking to them and playing with them long sets that a lot of their expertise comes from just straight combat. They're spending every game trying as hard as they can to win, and they want to develop practical experience. So a lot of the time when I was playing with Arslan Ash, for example, he would ask, like, what is this on block? Is that punishable? Do I step it to the right? Do I step it to the left? And that's one of the benefits of having a strong offline scene, is you can just drill a bunch of situations over and over again in combat and then work on the punishes in real time. And I think this is probably the most appealing way to most people. It's just harder to access in the online era of gaming. While on the flip side, it's actually kind of easier to access, right? So we have more people than ever that we can connect with. But finding the right community of people who want to play and learn this way can be a bit challenging. So if you're able to find Discord communities or local communities in person, this is the best way, I think, to develop my practical experience. And even with all the drills and everything in the world, you will need to be able to fight practically, and you'll need to be able to apply it. And when it comes to why I haven't competed as much recently, part of the reason is because I'm just lacking that experience due to both life situation and just like my physical proximity from other people online. It's hard for me to get high quality matches. This drill is cooking me. I don't know if you can tell. It's hard for me to get high quality matches and grind the game against people who are also pushing themselves super, super hard. Like my main training partners, we get like 100 MS matches, right? So it's super hard to train the game super seriously, right? Just by the nature of those conditions. So when it comes to practical experience, when you combine that with how much time I spend making videos and how much time I am just doing content stuff in general, it's hard to be a competitor. It's hard to stack up to the people who are spending 8 hours a day getting better at in-combat experience situations while I'm learning a new character in like blue ranks. And that's not me talking down on blue ranks, it's just not the pro level, right? So all of that missed experience, that gap, starts to matter a lot when it comes to placing top 8 at tournaments or even winning the entire thing. When it was Tekken 7, when it was the era of Tekken 7, my content was less robust, and I spent most of my time entering every online tournament that I could. This was during the pandemic, so there was actually a weekly tournament every day. So basically, I was in tournaments 7 days a week playing one character every single time, learning every matchup with that one character, and getting super optimized at fighting. In this game, I'm often doing like teaching content where I'm playing other characters or trying to figure out how to analyze a pro match in a way that is interesting to people of all skill levels. And that just costs a lot of time, right? A general video, I would say, takes like 2 to 4 hours to produce if you consider the thumbnail and everything. And other players at the top level are getting better at fighting in that time. And that's just experience I'm missing. Now, it's not to say that it's impossible. There are content creators in games who still do really well. But when you add the fact that Tekken 8 is such a different game from Tekken 7, and my skill set was much better in the previous game, I have a lot of catching up to do. And the work I'm doing is not catching me up, if that makes sense. So, from a practical experience standpoint, I'm missing a lot. But if you're just someone who's just getting into the series, or you've been playing for a while and just trying to improve, you can get a lot out of practical experience, especially now that Quick Match has infinite rematch. There's a lot of ways to get better at the game than just spamming ranked. I think spamming ranked has a place, but to actually improve, it's pretty important to take the time building practical experience in other ways, not just straight up first to twos. Yeah, that's, I think, number one. And I put it as number one not because I think everybody needs to focus on this. I think a lot of people play the game, but I think it's important for people to keep that in mind. No matter how much drilling you do and how much like VOD analysis you do, there is a gameplay component, right? That said, I do feel like when it comes to the YouTube audience, most of you are probably doing more playing the game than drilling. And there's no shame in that. I'm the same way. In my friend group, I am known as like the non-labber. I am heavily dependent on other people's labbing for information. And in my videos, I often correct like myself in the comments below if there's a mistake I made in terms of frame data or defensive situation. And that's part of the benefit of doing these informational videos, is I get to do a lot more research than I would normally do as a player. Anyways, let's talk about informational learning. So informational stuff I consider like matchup details, like the fact that Jin's 214, let's go back to that string, 214 is sidesteppable to the right. This is stuff that takes a lot of trial and error to figure out, right? You have to go into practice mode, look at almost every character's strings. You can prioritize the ones you see the most that happen online or in your matches, but you have to eventually get in here and just test it, right? He does 214 on delay. Can I sidestep right? Yes. Can I sidestep left? Oh, look at that. Oh, Steve can step that to the left, I guess sometimes. I didn't know that. See, look at that. We're all learning. You can backdash it sometimes. And then it becomes a matter of gauging what is practical when you weigh it with his other options. If Jin does 2-1 electric, then the sidestep left gets blown up, right? So there's a lot of trial and error when it comes to labbing the game. And I think this is, as much as I just said practical experience is king, you really can't go far without this kind of informational learning. As a competitor myself, like I said, I am the non-labber of my friend groups, so I'm heavily dependent on playing games with people, talking to them about it, watching games, like pro-level games, and seeing where these kinds of defensive holes exist. I think that's why so many people benefit from watching high-level games at every region, in like tournaments or streams, both, because there's just information that you'll learn by doing it. This game has so much to offer, and I think that's what makes it cool. A lot of people will say it's overwhelming or too much or you know, cluttered, but I think that level of explorability and the skill expression that you get from seeing so many options play out in combat is cool. So I have no problem with the amount of information Tekken has. I just recognize that it would take a lot of work for me to be competitively ready, to know not every situation, but at least most situations that come up often, and how to counter it with not just one character, because I play Steve, but I also play Lily, but to be able to counter it on both characters and to feel super comfortable doing it every time. Right? I know that you're supposed to sidestep right Jin's 214. I know that you're supposed to react to this twitch at the bottom and duck. But when you watch me in matches, I will drop it all the time. And it's just because it's not in my hands. It's not in that comfort level. And that's where I want to get to mechanical learning, right? Even with labbing and study and watching a lot of matches, there is an element of the game, and this ties into the practical experience, that just depends on you being able to do it, right? And that's where these drills come in. Tekken isn't a game that information in, I can play, right? Like, it's not that simple most of the time. Of course, it is for some cases, right? Like, say you're fighting an opponent who only does 2-1-4-4, and then they tell you you can duck it. That changes everything, right? But if you're fighting a player who's also threatening every option at the same time, right? I'm going to turn on all these options. Can I react to the lows? Can I punish this without getting hit? Can I recognize the spacing where my punish will miss? See, I already missed the sidestep right. I sidestep right there. That's inappropriate, right? Under the stress of everything, all the options, it's easy to get overwhelmed. And that's the purpose of these drills, this mechanical training, is to reduce the mental load and just have it in your neurology, right? Your eyes see, your hands do. No brain processing required. You can see that I'm getting cooked by these options that you just saw me, if you were watching, handle with ease, right? Just by adding more options. So in addition to practical combat experience, there's an element, I think, of drilling that creates this mechanical experience that makes it much easier to see what an opponent is doing, see their tendencies, and counter them almost like a chess match, right? And I think that's what makes high-level fighting games so cool, is that when both players have this mechanical expertise, they have the informational expertise and understand how the matchups work, you get to see almost a chess match play out, right? Okay, that was a late punish, but you know, that's the idea. And this part is, I think, one of the most challenging, especially with people who have limited schedules and you don't have a lot of time to actually boot up Tekken and play it as much as you'd want. It's hard to devote time to doing these drills. For me in particular, I am so lacking in the practical experience area that unless I'm fighting an opponent who will constantly cook me for these mechanical mistakes, I would rather just play the game and keep building experience. Obviously, everybody learns differently. People play differently. I have a lot of friends who are lab monsters, and they need this drill time and this lab time in order to play, like, at all, right? So I think there's no perfect answer, but I do think drills have a place in a lot of people's routines, and we probably, collectively, especially if you watch my channel, don't drill enough. So that's part of the reason I wanted to drill today. The other reason I wanted to drill today is because I've been playing a lot more Street Fighter. If you're not up to date, I've been in the Sajam Slam. It's like a streamer tournament, right? And it's organized by skill level. So if you're brand new to Street Fighter in this tournament, you don't have to fight someone who's been playing for like years, right? Well, allegedly, because I got placed in the top seed. Like, so there's 4 seeds. I got placed in the top one with people who are like master rank, like 1700 MR. If you don't know what that means, it's like as soon as you get into master rank, you get placed at 1500, and then you can gain and lose points, right? So a lot of people will get 1500 and then start dropping points, which is what happened to me. I'm like 1200 MR. And then there are people who are at like 1700, so they're not only master rank, they're like winning and like getting higher level. So I have a lot of catching up to do, and I'm doing a lot of mechanical practice for that game. It inspired me to go back to Tekken and do more mechanical practice, right? To get my punishes down and just be able to fight more, you know, not losing to, oh, I didn't know that, not losing to, oh, I didn't react to that. But I want to lose because there's something new to learn. There's something new to develop, right? And for better or worse, it does take a bit of this work. For me, I think it's cool. I think mechanical expertise is really cool. I think that feeling myself perform at a level where my hands and eyes are faster than they were before is a really cool thing, right? This is still mechanical learning. I think it's a really cool thing. And even though the drills are tedious and I really don't like doing them, once I experience like the sensation of playing better and being faster, like that reaction, I like celebrate that. I'm like, this is really sick. This is cool. I was getting cooked by that before, and now I can kind of see it, right? And there, a block. Nice. Look at that. I'm doing the sidestep right to beat the 2-1-4 and the duck to beat the low, right? Now, obviously, if Jin doesn't delay the 2-1-4, then you'll get hit. So it's important to not do it every single time, right? In an actual match. But yeah, like I'm trying to lock in on that feeling of mechanical development and improvement. The difficulty is, again, when it comes to being a tournament level player, this is the stuff that needs to already be happening, right? And I am just catching up. I am just catching up. Most of the pro players at currently in Tekken 8, especially after a long year, a big season 1, they can do all this. So I'm playing catch up. So it's hard to want to compete and kind of go in at a bit of a disadvantage. That's not to say I haven't had like great opportunities and things like that with content and things like that. It's just the sacrifice I've had to make. And it will take a lot of work to get back up to speed. But yeah, that's kind of the Tekken part of this. If you stuck around this long, thank you. I want to share some Sajam Slam updates. The format of the Sajam Slam is a team tournament. There are 4 teammates and a coach. Basically, the teammates will fight first, and if there's a tie between, you know, the 4v4, then the coaches will break the tie. But if the teams win like 3-1, for example, then they just move forward. There's no coach battle. The coaches obviously being like pros or high-level content creators, things like that. So in this match, this was from the first Sajam Slam. This was actually me versus Brawl Pro. And I had lost, I think, every set I played throughout the tournament, day 1, day 2, and the finals. Except against a player who wasn't really able to practice because he had like a hand injury. So I was taking it pretty hard. I was focused really hard on like improving and just getting to the point where we could get to the Twitch Rivals tournament. I was the 3rd player, so at this point I didn't know, but my match ended up being a big reason of why we didn't qualify to the finals, because we ended up finishing 2-2 and then our coach lost the tiebreaker. But if I won this match, that wouldn't have been necessary. We would have just advanced. So this is actually me again versus Brawl Pro on Zangief. Zangief is like a king player. Is like king in Tekken 8. So you can see he gets huge damage on me here. What you need to know about Street Fighter, basically, is that instead of reacting to like lows and throws like in Tekken, you want to react to people jumping in, right? So a lot of the time where we're just standing still and walking back and forth, I'm trying to see if he's going to jump in at me so I can anti-air him and stop his offense like this, right? So he jumps up. I want to counter it with my own jump or do a dragon punch, a DP, to stop him. What that means is that I'll often be standing around on the ground and be open to other forms of offense. And Zangief in particular, here's huge combo damage. That's not unique to him, but that is a lot of damage. Zangief also has throws that are unbreakable. So you have to jump predictively or be spaced better or have your hitbox out to prevent it. So this is actually game 3. Brawl Pro is poised to win the entire thing. I'm fighting back. I get a nice pressure sequence in the corner and I back up because I want to keep him in the corner so he can't run away from me, right? He gets in with his drive rush. That's kind of like a neutral heat dash. Imagine if you could heat dash from neutral. That's kind of what that's like. Your moves become plus on block. You get new combos and stuff like that. I don't hate the mechanic. I actually think it's kind of fun, but I didn't have the reactions to like check it at that time. That's a drive impact. That's like a power crush, like an armor move. So a lot of reaction checks. I'm trying to see if he's going to jump again. He runs up and does his level 3, his rage art, right? And this level 3 is a grab. And I lost. So we're playing neutral. He does the armor move, right? So I'm trying to look for the jump. I'm trying to look for the armor move. I'm trying to look for catching him in my spacing to hit him with that low that Cammy does. And when he flashes here, I want to check him with like jab or like a crouching medium punch, like something long range. But he can also go into his level 3 right away, which grabs me. So I was actually attacking here. My kick was out. So the actual correct answer would have been to jump. And the fact that that killed me and I lost, I was so upset. Like, I literally, for the rest of the stream, after my teammates played and we ended up losing because, again, I needed that key win, I played Fortnite, I played League of Legends, and then I played Dragunov in Tekken 8 with no camera. I was so upset. So that's the context. So going into the Sajam Slam this time, again, this is round 1, so this is not the stakes of the finals, but I was fighting a different Zangief. It's not Brawl Pro. But this is actually this player's secondary character. So I wasn't like insulted, but I was definitely like, okay, I need to be able to beat this guy on his secondary, right? So I eat the command throw right away. Let me switch views real quick. All right. So start of the round. I'm backing up. Again, I'm looking for the jump-ins. I missed the anti-air because now I'm also trying to check the drive rush. He ends up getting this unbreakable throw on me again. He's pushing me to the corner, so my priority is to get out. I grab him, switch sides. Now I try to run my offense. He switched sides again. Okay. So remember, you saw how much damage Zangief can do. He is level 3. Like, I'm basically in lethal, right? Like, if he lands that grab on me, I'm going to die. So I'm backing up, trying to play it as like cautious as possible. If he drive rushes at me, I want to be able to jump on reaction. I go for my armor move to burn him out. When he's in burnout, basically he has a lot less defensive options. I miss my anti-air again, and now it's literally lethal without the level 3. Okay, I'm starting to run my offense. He protects my throw. Throw breaks in this game are predictive. They're not reactionary. And I end up clutching it out with that combo. This dive kick went over his poke attempt, right? Or actually, no, I dive kicked with the super dive kick, the EX dive kick. And his anti-air, you could see him trying to anti-air, but it was too slow because the EX dive kick is a bit faster. That's one of Cammy's advantages, is she jumps in at you, you try to anti-air, but she can come down faster with her dive kick and even faster with her EX dive kick. So with this game, it ends up being 1-0 in my favor. I lose the second game. Now this is game 3. Sorry, I keep changing it to full screen. So this is game 3, 1-1. You remember what happened to me last time. And this game was really exciting. So I'm going to let it play out and you can hear my teammates. And I'll commentate it like lightly, right?
Yeah, that would have worked.
So I messed up a dive kick there. Again, because Zangief can just delete my health bar, I need to play it extremely slowly. I need to anti-air. I miss it there. I back up because I don't want him to command grab me. There, he misses one. I get a small punish.
Throw him.
Okay. And my coach is JB, by the way, a pro Rashid player. Super, super good. And he's been an amazing coach. I've had a great time with him. Okay, dive kick gets parried. I try to check his drive rush, right? But we trade because I was just a bit too slow. I used the arm move, predicting his flip kick that he did there. Combo. JB keeps telling me to throw him, but I'm not confident enough because he keeps breaking my throw. Zangief is burnt out, so I have a huge opportunity. He messes up the command throw. Now I'm spacing. He can just kill me in like one hit, so I have to be super, super careful about finding my opportunity. So I'm just moving back and forth. Kame is the fastest walk speed. Dive kick over his low. Combo conversion. I burn myself out, and this level 1 isn't enough to kill. So now in this situation, if he does his super, I die. You can't see it because my face is in the way. Sorry. If he does the super, I die, right? He is 2 meter. It'll just chip me because I'm in burnout. I land a throw to put it at last pixel, and I know I can't play any more interactions. So I do my level 1 to catch him blocking, and I chip him to death to win the first round. So I never like practiced that or anything. It was just like a spur of the moment. How do I kill him? What do I do? Now I have less meter too, and that's the thing about Street Fighter is I burnt my meter, so it's harder to kill him this time around. There I caught him with the drive. He was drive rushing in, and I checked it. So a lot of the drilling and practice I've been doing is starting to pay off. Trying to keep him in the corner. I'm just walking back. I don't want him to start any offense on me. I need to get my meter back. Okay. Nice. Quick dive kick into a mini combo. Wake up situation. He jumps out of the corner, but I catch him landing with a whiff punish. Okay, stray hit. Backing up, I don't want him to throw me. I land a stray crouching medium kick, catching him walking at me, and end up winning that. This was so sick. It happened so fast, but the cool part about Street Fighter is that a lot of these interactions are really fast, right? So he whiffs here, he tries to walk back, and I catch him in the legs. And then convert. And that felt so good coming off of the loss from before, right? Especially because earlier in the day, I lost a ton of my sets as well. But it all started with this awesome drive rush check. Right? Like, this is the stuff I've been practicing a bunch in this Sajam Slam. He flashes green, I want to react and counter poke him, right? It's super hard. It's so much faster than the things I react to in Tekken. Tekken is a lot more slow spacing and kind of timing battles. Street Fighter has a lot of like reaction checks, and there's so many things to react to that mental stack is very real. Like, you have to choose what to focus on and choose what to give up based on your opponent's tendencies. That's what makes Street Fighter so cool to me. Anyways, I've been rambling. I lost the rest of my sets that day. We play again tomorrow if you're watching this video the day it comes out, and then we play again on Sunday. So on Sunday it'll be the final qualifier to go to Japan if we win. So I had the idea to do these Tekken drills because I've been doing Street Fighter drills, and they've been helping me improve at that game at a rapid rate, being able to use kind of my fighting game understanding and getting my hands out of the way, right? And I think for a lot of people who may be struggling in Tekken, that's something you could do, right? Like, there is a lot in this game. There's a lot of moves, there's a lot of knowledge checks. But if you have your punishes ready, if you have your reactions ready, there's a lot less to focus on. It just becomes, when is my opponent swinging? What moves are they tending to do? Are they sidesteppable? Are they blockable? Can I keep them out with a counter hit? Right? This is going under my back one, but his other moves don't. Being able to remove the part of the brain that is stuck on the mechanics will get you super, super far. And for that reason, I really recommend a lot of these drills. We have a playlist of the drills that I'll link below. I'm going to try to come up with some more going into Season 2. And yeah, in terms of my ability to go pro again and kind of compete, it's going to depend on, can I gather the practical experience? Can I have good training partners? Can I up my informational gap? Can I improve my mechanics? Which right now I'm learning Street Fighter, so obviously not. But yeah, things might change, especially I will be moving, I think, half a year from now. And if I get a better internet connection there, I might be able to train more. So that'll be probably after EVO. So I might not be like EVO ready. But assuming Tekken 8 doesn't crash and burn and we get a few more seasons and a lot more competition, I could go pro again. It would depend, of course. So that's my update. I know the channel's videos have been slower, but I appreciate you guys for sticking around. We'll be back to business as normal after the Sajam Slam, and especially leading into Season 2 in February. I think Season 2 will come in March, but I don't know for sure. That's just a rough estimate. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, please leave a like and a comment. If you got nothing to say, leave an emoji. That helps just as much. Subscribe for more, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.